Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I want to recommend some underhyped mystery thriller books that I found kind of by mistake by shopping on my local Goodwill, and I enjoyed this book so much that they're before a 4.5 and 5 stars. So I want to share the love, share these titles, and hopefully you can find something that you like and you want to try. This thrillers kept me at the edge of the seat, and I'll tell you a little bit more about each one of them because they're all very different. Now I have to start with the first one that started my obsession with this author, and I found this book at the thrift store and I read the premise. I didn't have my phone with me, so I couldn't look up reviews or anything, and when I just read the premise, I thought it sounded very interesting. I got home, I started reading it, and I couldn't put it down. And this is Every Last Fear by Alex Finley. Now, this is the story, or it starts with this NYU student who, after a party night he comes home to his dorm, and the police is waiting for him to tell him that his entire family was found dead, and they believe that it was a gas leak. They were on vacation in Mexico and his entire family died. So he is the only one available in this family because he didn't attend there, and the other brother, Danny, which is the eldest brother, he is in jail. Now, what I really like about this book is that it incorporated two different things, and it had different POVs, or multiple POVs, I should say. And we learned that what happened is that there was a Netflix documentary about the eldest brother that is in jail, and he was accused of killing his high school girlfriend, and there isn't definite proof that he did it. However, he was sentenced and he was serving his time. So now we learn that there's a little bit of a connection between what the family was doing in Mexico to try to help the brother that it's in prison, and them dying in Mexico. So we will spend the rest of the book figuring it out, both things, a little bit more about what happened and the twist at the end, like who actually is behind whatever happened that night for the brother, is going to have you questioning the rest of the book. It's really smart in my opinion, and whatever happened and how they got to Mexico, the family, it's another story, because we will learn how that trip even got to happen out of the blue the week before spring break. So to me, what I really enjoy about this book is that, and I didn't know this, but the author is a lawyer, and for whatever reason I love books written by lawyers. Not everyone, but most of them, because I feel like they have this thing to try to connect the dots in a way. Maybe that's what the cover is suggesting, but it really connected dots, and I couldn't find a plot hole. I felt like everything that happened in this book happened for a reason. It ties down to something that will happen, or that happened in the past, or we will learn in the future. And at the end of the book, it felt very satisfying to learn what really happened to the brother, the one that was in prison, and what happened to the family, and all the drama that they had to go through because of this documentary, and how the entire community was judging this family. So once again, to me, yes, it had to do with the mystery, but it's also in how satisfying everything is at the end. The next one is by the same author, and it's called What Have We Done by Alex Finley. Again, when I find an author that I feel like we connect, like our brains are kind of wired in the same way that we find the same thing satisfying, I kind of have to go back and read the entire backlist, and I'm working on it. But this is another favorite, and this follows the story of Jenna, Danny, and Nico, who were best friends growing up, and they were in this house for teenagers. I think it was called Savior House, and this Savior House was a group home for parentless teens. And eventually this place shuts down because of something that happens. And we fast forward to the future where each one of these characters are living their best lives. One is in a mine, the other one is in a cruise, the other one has a job that it's crazy, and what happened while she goes on this assignment. And basically it starts with somebody trying to kill each one of them in all those different places. So you're like, is it the same person? Why are they trying to kill them now? I mean, they're out of the place. But throughout this book, we're gonna learn what really happened that made this place close. And this book starts with like an image in my head. It really puts an image in my head that says 25 years ago, at the top of a knoll, through a break in the trees, 5 teenagers stand at the edge of a shallow grave. A light rain falls, thunder rumbles in the sky, and one of the boys raises the gun. It was his idea. After all, he should go first. He aims into the hole, but the gun wobbles in the half light. That is kind of a hint of what really happened that night. But if you think that it's giving it away, no, it's not. Whatever happened that night and who's behind the entire thing, you will never guess. I mean, I read this entire book and I was like, I have no idea who is behind this. And if these are the 3 friends, who else would want them dead? I mean, what, is it each other? Are they but why would they try to kill the 3 of them? It was one of those books that make you question every single thing that you read. And I thought that the ending was very fulfilling, very crazy, because I didn't see it coming. I didn't think it could be that person, and definitely kept me turning the pages and coming back to this book. I read it really, really fast. I actually did an audiobook at the same time, and for both, the audiobooks are great. And so I had to go and order this one from Amazon because that's how much I love it. I have to have the physical copy in my collection. Now, I'm going to recommend this book. I don't have the physical book. I want to order it though. And I may be in the minority on this book because I did see a few people talking about it. But mostly, I don't know why, not everyone loved it. So I mean, you're welcome to try it, but just so you know, it's very divisive. You either will love this book or you'll hate it. And it's called Every Vow You Break by Peter Swanson. Peter Swanson is pretty popular in the thriller mystery genre, so you might have heard of this, but I thought that I needed to include it because since it's an older book, if you're new to reading, maybe you haven't heard of this book, but it is basically this couple that she marries this guy that is doing really well financially, and they decide to go, or I think he's the one that suggested that they go to this isolated island in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, now kind of disconnected completely, so they could connect with each other during their honeymoon. However, the bride, Abigail, she has this one night stand situation. I think it was in her bachelorette party or retreat or whatever she did. She went somewhere, she met this guy, she had a thing with him, and now they go to this island for their honeymoon, and this guy happens to be there. And so we will spend the rest of the book figuring out why he's there. How is the connection to the husband? Is it really something that happened between the husband and now she's in trouble in this isolated island, or what the deal is? In the end, I have to say that the ending is very crazy. You have to suspend your disbelief. It is very out there, but I thought that the entire book was entertaining enough that a crazy twist in the end wasn't that bad. Now, this next one, I'm going to say that is a little bit more literary, so it's more focused on also characters, but still has a great plot. And it's another of my Goodwill finds. Again, I never seen this book on BookTube or anywhere else recommended to me, but the cover really made me want to read it. There is a woman down here with a dog, and it's in the middle of winter. It's a snowy place, and I thought, these are the vibes that I need, and I'm glad I picked it up. I don't think that Diane Levaquette, I'm sure I am butchering her last name, and this is The Last Woman in the Forest. And it covers the story, or it follows the story of our main protagonist, that is Marianne. And she found her true calling by working with these rescue dogs to protect endangered wildlife. Now, one of her assignments, I think is the very first one, is that takes her to northern Alberta, Canada, and she falls in love with her mentor. Now, eventually, they have to go to different assignments, and while on those assignments, he dies. So she goes back to where they met, and she starts to wonder a lot of things about this guy, because even though she was in love with him, she didn't really know him. And there was a serial killer that was in the loose, and now things are pointing to him doing it. So she finds this investigator who's trying to prove that he did it, and she's trying to prove that he didn't do it. So we're gonna go through that investigation, but it's very amateur. This is not police procedural. This is about her going through his stuff, going through other people's stuff, talking to the locals, going to different expeditions, learning different things about the work itself. And then in the end, the twist was something I did not see coming. I read a few reviews and nobody said that they saw this coming, but in the end, we learn if he was the one that did it or if he wasn't, and who actually did it, who was the serial killer. Now, I think that the best part of this book is that it hooks us with the first killing, or at least the first one that is shared with us, and it's about this woman that ends up being stranded. She accepted help, and so we kind of know where this is going. So reading how it's happening and what she is saying and accepting from this guy is like giving you that feeling of telling her, don't do it, don't do it, be careful, he's gonna do something. And I just thought that it was great. So it really grabbed my attention from the first chapter, and I have to say that the most entertaining ones are the ones that explain how he picked his victims and exactly how he did it, which I think that sometimes is not explained so much, because the point is, he was killing multiple people. But in this case, the writing is beautiful. I really did enjoy this book, and I think you should read it if you find that you're okay with a slower pace. It's not going to be as fast-paced as any of the previous books I recommended, but I still wanted to mention it. So thank you so much for being here today. If you have any underhyped thriller books that you want to recommend to me, I would truly appreciate it. I've been going through the books I have on my challenge for the month of November. One of them that I just finished is Sleep Tight, and I'm already into the Sundown Motel, but I feel like I'm not getting the vibes that I want from the thrillers that I've been reading lately. So if you have any recommendations of underhyped thrillers, I would love to hear them or read them in the comments down below. So thank you so much for being there today, guys. I truly appreciate you coming back, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.